We're here at Her Majesty's Theatre in Melbourne, where we're about to launch the new version of Les Miserables.
So Lawrence and I were both involved in one way or another in the original version of the show. Lawrence was on one of the first national tours of the UK that we did with the show, and I was in the West End version of the show. So, yes, there's a lot of comparable common denominators, and also there's a lot of unique, never-been-seen-before, exciting, new and different things in this version.
I've had a dream my life would be so different from this hell I'm living.
All the orchestrations are being revisited and are fresh and are different and new. But, you know, look, the story's the same. But how we tell it and what we see is all new and different.
For example, the world of just flying in a cloth with a picture of a landscape on it and then having to fly that out. And that still exists, but we don't see it so much these days. We find other ways to use our sets, and I think that makes it almost filmic, and it gives it an epic quality to the style of musical theatre that perhaps we couldn't do some years ago.
The big change is in obviously automation, particularly the automated moves of scenery. The scene changes are now run, a lot by computers as opposed to people pushing. There are about 75 moving lights in the show above the stage and installed in the auditorium around the sets. There's I couldn't tell you how many speakers. There's hundreds of speakers. The whole auditorium has been decked out with a full delay system and a full surround system as well. So if you actually take a look around, you'll see in the stalls alone here, there's actually 3 banks of delay speakers overhead there, as well as surround on the back wall. There's tracks in the deck that bring scenery on. There are sliders which move on, and sort of they also pivot.
The original production is a brilliant production, and in its own right. But I think we didn't sort of set out to go, okay, they do it like this, let's do it like this. We just simply took our head out of that space and said, okay, what do we want to do here, and how do we want to musically and dramatically? This is, for example, Javert's suicide is a huge climatic moment for his dramatic point of view, and we wanted to do something incredible in his death, which was a departure from the original, but actually ultimately it's the same idea. He jumps from a bridge, is what Victor Hugo wrote, and so we do that. We just do it in a very different way, because technology allows us to do that now. So we were able to play, because technology has advanced so much, we were able to do things that the idea of probably didn't even exist 29 years ago.
I've always seen what we do as embellishing a story, and I think you need a story first, and then you can embellish upon that with some whiz-bang technology. So for me, this is where Les Mis really ticks every box, because it's such a great story. The big scene in Les Mis is, for anyone who knows the show, is the barricades. So, the barricades look amazing. It's a new design, a new set design to what people may have seen on the previous production. So the way that actually moves and the way that it's lit and sounds is amazing. It's fantastic.